anomalous phenomena.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Who are they? Where are they from? And what is their intent?
All questions that immediately come to mind with the mention of UFOs.
A Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Many of them are explained as being drones, birds, or weather events, but about half of them remain unexplained.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
My gosh.
They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
This video taken by the Navy showing what he describes as pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the San Diego coast in July of 2019. The Pentagon has since confirmed that the video is authentic.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazil is the man who discovered the saucer.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
More people are coming forward with their own sightings.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs.
Right at that moment, I saw what looked like 5 lights flying in formation in kind of an inverted check mark.
The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. We don't know what these UAP are.
The mysterious flying objects are still a mystery. NASA will continue investigating them and has appointed a director of UAP research.
Technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
Good evening. I want to welcome you here to Roderick Martin's High Strangeness. And I hope you had a great weekend and did all the things that you set out to do with your family, friends, and whoever. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about Area 51. And was there a true king of that? Some stories you may not have heard. Some things that are not put into perspective all the time. And we're going to talk about that as well. Another thing is, I just want to tell you that this phenomena, as always, is still growing with secrets, things that I would always say, you may not believe it. So I want to welcome you. And the first thing I want to say, I bid you good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the 24 time zone that this show may air. I'm located in Dallas, Texas. If you have any family members or anyone in Texas area that talks about these UFO stuff, tell them to hook up with me and we can talk about it and prove your point, especially if they are non-believers. But who cares I do. I care about that all the way. Another thing I just want to say that if you do have your streaming platforms such as Gaia, you can find me on Gaia with Open Minds and Regina Meredith and Beyond Belief. Even Discovery Plus, you can go and find the Alien Endgame, which is also, you can find me on Apple TV as well as Amazon Prime, Fox Tubi, Ancient Aliens History Channel, and Forbidden Knowledge with Billy Carson in the Black Knight Satellite, as well as on Forbidden Knowledge Network, an 8-episode series. Also, there's a couple other films out there called Bigfoot, I Want to Believe 1 and 2. These are all of my TV credits and things that I've done. Also, if you are going to be attending the Forbidden Knowledge Contest Award and you have not voted, I definitely want your vote. I have been nominated here in the second annual awards in the podcast category, and I need your vote. If you can go in there and put your vote up for me to win. I want to win. And there's a link in the description of this video where you can go and you can vote for everyone. But most importantly, I would like your vote. If I can get that, I will be most appreciative. As always, this show is sponsored as well with LIVEPURE coffee. As you know, they support our show with this coffee that has these cordyceps mushrooms in it. A lot of people are getting a lot of energy from it. There is a link into the description as well. Why don't you try it? Why don't you try to get that energy, stamina, and all these things that the benefits of that mushroom gets you? It has a latte. Yeah, it's got the little cream and caramel latte as well as the black. So either or, we can miss or not miss, but we can reach everybody with the coffee, as we will do that as well. All right, so what are we talking about? We're going to be talking about what I call the kings of Area 51. Or the king. It was only one, and it will be probably a story and some information that you might not have heard. If you had, great, but then it may be a person that we're going to be focusing on that you're going to be like, wow, really? And even when I started getting and gathering information on this particular subject matter that we're talking about today, I was like, wow, I didn't really know that this guy's reach goes into Area 51 and the power that he actually had. Because when I watched his documentary or his TV show, they didn't go into that he gained and immense so much power within the government and as well within this alien phenomenon. But who knows? I mean, it's bigger secrets been kept since then, and I think it's up to us to uncover those secrets as we are truth seekers. Now, the place where this takes place is going to be the Bohemian Grove. Now, this is a camping ground right in Northern California, and it's hosted by the Bohemian Club. Now, if you ever heard of this, if not, make sure you do look it up after we get off this air tonight, and you can kind of go into the details. But this is a huge place. It was like 2,700 acres to be exact, and it also required a hefty membership. At the time of me doing some research, it was like $2,500, and it could be way more than that then. But it also gets you a campsite seat next to some of these people. That's all the membership does. However, there are other options and amenities that you can go for as an individual once you become part of the club itself. Now, another thing, as I will bring out early on into the show, if you are definitely into the point of getting information in this UFO stuff, I have decided to give you some access to some of my files, some things that I have looked forward into over the time. And this is just unbelievable. There's ebooks and files. There's 400 books. Yeah, there's a lot of UFO information out there. And this is going to be in a Google Drive, so you're going to get access to my drive and some PDFs and all this stuff. And if you are interested in it, you want to increase your knowledge within ufology, you talk about crop circles, Area 51, things we're talking about tonight, the cover-ups, some alien contacts. We're talking, you will never have to buy another book or seek information, and you will definitely become the highlight of conversation wherever you go in the holidays when it's time to talk about this new alien revolution that is going on. So if that is you and you want to be that person, simply use the Cash App that we have here, and I'll put it up on the screen, or it'll scroll across the screen, Cash App or PayPal. And if you use PayPal, use family and friends and send that. But I will, for $40, that's it. I'm talking, this stuff was probably $600, $700, $800, $900, $1,000 over the last years of accumulating all this stuff. And I just only going to offer it to 10 people. So when you cash out me the $40, put your telephone number or what, really just your email address in the notes section. And then tomorrow I will send it out to you, because tonight when I leave here, I'll go to the gym. But I'll send that out to you so that you become that person. You become that conversational piece. When you get into these chats, you will become not only more knowledgeable, more people will respect you in ufology. And if that's something you want to become and you want that information, maybe you're going to do podcasts down the road, then like I said, only 10, because it's a lot of work and it's not worth it for me to sit out here and let everybody get a copy of all of that. But I am saying that because we're doing it as a fundraiser of what we're doing. So if that's fair enough for you, the opportunity is there for you. I will put it back on the screen real quick. You're talking 400 books about UFOs related problems and things, and these all in PDFs. And you're talking, this is big file, 3.2 gigs, but you'll get it part of a link in the Google Drive. So good hunting and the blessing to any of you that decides to do this. All right. So like I said before, this thing takes place in Bohemian Grove, which is outside of Northern California. Now, according to this is things that I'm only saying, so I want to make sure I put up my disclaimer, because we're going to get into some detailed stuff. Let me find my disclaimer so that people will know what this is. Now, the disclaimer is these are views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers, commentators, experts, and hosts, do not explicitly or necessarily reflect nor represent the channel's policy or views held by the channel or broadcaster. The broadcaster of this channel cannot be held accountable for all and any views expressed during this particular program. Now, with that being said, let's hop into what we're going to be talking about. Now, according to a former employee, that there have been many clubs and hideouts at this Bohemian Groves. Now, the Bush family, which is what we're talking about here too, hideout is called the Mandalay. Now, supposedly, when I did some alto research, this particular place was for some of the elite to go and do business, not do business there, but to relax. They even had some kind of saying about the spider's web or whatever. But whatever that meaning constitute was, or it did, was that we're not here to do business. We're here to relax. And this is a private place to relax. And you can best believe in any place like that, there was going to be probably tremendous networking when this is happening. So I'm sure a lot of things going. But anyway, another place in a club within that place was called SWAT Sticker Club. Then Kathy O'Brien and other artists claims there was an underground lounge called UN The Ground. There was something called the Dark Room. There was something called the Leather Room, Necrophilia Room. And there was also an owl statue that featured in these ritual that was based on the owl of Minerva and had small lanterns in form of Aladdin's lamp. Now, I will put up a few photos, but I'm not, because I didn't really want to go into all of that. But there's photos and things that talks about Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon being briefed for what they call, most people call that particular presidency, the puppet presidency. In other words, these people, this is puppet masters. This has got nothing to do with anything else. And so I thought that was pretty interesting when people say, okay, what is happening once again in this phenomena when it comes down to this. And I thought, again, that it was pretty interesting how we will see things in the perspective of what we're doing. So anyway, let me continue to go down this rabbit hole of what I'm talking about here. Now, American author, this was an author of a book, author Kathy O'Brien. She claims that Bob Hope, out of all people, think about it. If you remember Bob Hope, when I grew up with Bob Hope, it was all the Christmas Carol song, all the stuff that he was singing, and all of his movies was like this heroic thing or this cool cat. And I used to watch it when I was younger, you know, but they were saying that he was a pervert. And like I said, these are just information I ran by. I'm not saying to you he is. The rumor has it that he was. And he was part of a cabal of celebrities who used what they call the younger folks, the little mini humans, in these events that had a lot of people doing all these things together. Yeah, we got to start watching what we say here on YouTube. But anyway, and they also said that he would use these little mini humans not only to do procreation type stuff with them, but also mind programming projects funded during the Nixon administration. Now, we've been talking about, if we bring into current day, we're always been talking about the Puff Daddy stuff and how he has been doing these same rituals and satanic stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that this was something that was already and repeatedly have been going on for quite some time. And the fact that it moved into other genres, meaning it was probably standard edition, the standard protocol that was happening back in the day when these things were going on. But anyway, supposedly on the 7th floor of the Desert Inn, which is former employees say, Howard Hughes had a daily blood transfusion. All right. And he said he would get this blood only from the Mormons, and because they had what we call germ-free blood. Now, out of all people, when I started reading this, and as we go more in details tonight, Howard Hughes sticks out to most. And like I say, yeah, we've seen, if you watch the documentaries of him, his airplane and his heroic to invent the jet crafts and or where have it evolved to today, so to speak, but didn't know that he was really behind and financer of a lot of projects and stuff at Area 51. Because he had a huge connection to the big secret keepers or the government. So we'll get into that, which led into Area 51, as you know, is the main contact to the alien conspiracy. So when we think about the Howard Hughes stuff, but let me get back into some more of this first. Even still, Howard's corpse was unrecognizable and had to be fingerprinted by the FBI for identification. All right. And so again, that goes back to the connection, but supposedly he was using all these drug transfusions. Now, also at the time, Vegas was known back in the 40s and 50s as the Atomic City. And all through 1940s, you could watch nuclear explosions out in the desert while sipping in a champagne, what they call atomic cocktail. So at this time, what we thought and knew that there was a lot of secrecy going on. Supposedly at this time back then, these powers that would go out to the Bohemian Club had a front row seat where they will just chill, but they can watch secret government testing weapons out there in the desert, which is not something privileged to the average individual because it's so far out there. We just didn't know it, but they had to do that. And they had a special little cocktail that they all would drink, and also slapping the arses of what they call bunny girls. All right. So now we have bunny girls there, which had felt atomic. It's kind of, they had this kind of tiaras that they would wear. And I'm not even going to get into the attire that I have here because some of you may have your children listening here. But once again, we're talking about these secret societies. We're talking about the control of things that it's not in plain sight for us, but it still all dates back to the biggest secrets and the biggest cover-ups when it comes down to this in the United States or worldview is the alien connection. And so as I get more into this and as I'm starting doing more research, as I'm starting to do more things for Project Black and finding the religious connections to all this thing is huge, by the way. This whole phenomena, especially in the secrets that it's carrying, is off the freaking chart. And it's all I'm trying to say when it comes down to this. Now, back to Howard Hughes, and maybe they're saying that him having these blood transfusions to get rid of what we will call uranium and cesium, which because he was really close to all these nuclear projects, and maybe he got exposed in some particular capacity. But more likely, he was taking the fresh blood to try to rid himself of that poisonous disease. That would be my take on it. My take that they did say that he probably had this type of disease. And so I'm not thinking that because he wanted to use Mormon blood, that this is some type of blood ritual. But whatever the case was, we're talking more about some of the stuff that was going on. Now, throughout this entire period, I want you to take some notes in this. There was hand-wired red phone. They actually had the Batman phone, the Batman line, and this was connected to Howard Hughes, to his Area 51 aerospace desert complex of the aircraft hangars and film studios. I didn't know until I started looking into this that he actually had a film studio at Area 51 in that area, Howard Hughes. Now, most of us are sitting here thinking, how would someone such as he be so well connected to one of the most guarded secrets there? Well, we know money and power does that, but all right, so could he be the grandfather of some of these war machines and contractors that we have, the story that is untold when it comes down to this? And I think it's just something that we will look into once it comes down to that as well. Now, another part of this is, and as I educate you more, because we're listening to this, because it is time for you to begin to tie all of this stuff together. You have to begin to tie it together. You have to begin to understand that we can always talk about alien and aircraft and government secrets, but I'm starting to find out that there's a lot of hidden truths that tie into our everyday life, from religion to just common sense things, and also mind control and all the control of our everyday lives. And it all backs down to the origin of this planet. It boils back down to how we got here as a human species. Because let me just say to you, and I don't want to hurt your feelings if you're into your religious world, it was not have nothing to do with Adam and Eve. Okay, it doesn't. And although the story of Adam or Adam exists, it's just not the true story of, hey, we came from there. All the way down to, yes, we got your Anunnaki stories. We have the Inky, Enlil. We have the ancient astronauts, and all of these different connections, which I'm starting to find out. There was a lot of people out there that was at some point fertilizing Earth with some type of species. Now, okay, how do they get back into where we're going? Well, once all of that filters into here, then it goes back to see how some of these people in real time today have the power, the money, the influence, the tactics, okay? Keep that word in mind. There are actual social tactics that was learned from the alien days to control civilization today. And why not? There's a lot of us who, the human species, is intelligent beings. There are some evolving species of people, or whatever you want to call it, and therefore they're needed, or there was some type of control that we needed, but somehow that information was passed on to these people on Earth who said, okay, I'll take the mantle into that. I'll participate in the fact that we're going to control all of these people. All right, so Howard Hughes had hangars in the Mojave Desert and also in the Californian deserts too. And it was the Mojave Desert complex which had the world's longest runway that many people claim back engineered materials, including transistors, which was harnessed from crashed alien sites. Hughes Aerospace, which I did not know exists at the time, was not the only private corporation out there in this desert heat. Raytheon, Lockheed, and many other corporations allegedly stationed at Area 51, Groom Lake, and also the Mercury Test Range S4, and several other good-forsaken sites. It was all kind of what they call really groovy until hint, hint. All of this stuff they was enjoying all of this until the Nazis arrived. All right, you heard me say that. The Nazis who arrived to the United States, to Area 51, get into the space program. Oh, that's a whole nother story that we'll get into. But if you think about it right now, you're talking about the powers that be all of these people that are big conglomerates today, that are part of the military industrial complex, that are running the country, not our legislation systems that we think we have created, the military industrial contractors who are complex, who are really the purse strings when it comes down to running this company, okay, or country, as I want to say more specifically for you. Now, all right, so let's get into this information. This is going to bring some stuff into you. So like other Pentagon contractors, Hughes Aerospace empire was an empire of secrets. Now, I don't know why it kept referencing back to the Mormons, okay? And maybe if any of you know, put it into the chats. But Mormons was employed because Hughes believed they could keep secrets. I don't know why he specifically thought, okay, I just want to deal with Mormon employees. And maybe there's something else to be told. And maybe that was his way to have access to the blood that he wanted filtered into his body because of whatever was going on with him. And maybe us as truth seekers could look into, is there any connection to the Mormons, to the story of ancient civilizations or all of this stuff? And so that's just kind of a hint, something I would throw out there and tell everybody to look into, to kind of see where can we go with that particular hypothesis or information or research. Now, Howard Hughes was not only the richest and most powerful man in show business, and let me pause there. Who would have ever thought that Howard Hughes was the most powerful person in show business? Now, I'm saying to this because I'm now tying in for you the alien possibilities, the alien stories into show business control, which we heard from Darren Kuby, who was the son of the Shalites, one of the people in the Shalites, that talks about alien rituals and all this in the music business. And then we start hearing all this stuff. Guys, I think this whole umbrella is connected. All of this stuff is connected to rituals beyond human stuff. Okay, I think that's where it is, and I think it's something that we need to do once we get down to where we are with this. But also, like I said, this dude was so rich. Check this out. Howard Hughes was paying at that time Frank Sinatra $250,000 per week. He was paying Elvis Presley $400,000 per week, and he had many Hollywood beauties on permanent contracts, such as Janet Leigh, which was the girl who was killed in the shower in Hitchcock's Psycho. Y'all remember that? But also, he owned oil rigs, drilling, technology firms. He also owned entire airports, Trans World Airlines. He owned the patents on space technologies, such as communication satellite. And again, this guy is deep into this situation. So if you're finding any value in what we're talking about tonight, I want to thank some of you who already ordered your 400 ebooks and all of that. You're going to be just so pleased. Like I said, I'm only doing 10 of them, so I only have a few left that and I'm gonna cut all this out to future videos. But anyway, 400 ebooks about UFOs. You're talking fire in the sky, aliens, all of this crop circles. Yeah, okay, some of the stuff is private, but I'm just gonna offer it to my community that you can get. $40. I'm just telling you, that's less than 10 cents of freaking information, but you're gonna get all the stuff. You will come up and you will learn. Like, again, just the thing is there, cash out $40 with your email address. Thanks for some of you who've already done that. And you will not be disappointed. You will never see this again. I'm never going to do this again. And I shouldn't be really doing it because you need to pay your way into this thing. And when I say this, from hours of research and time, but I'm going to accelerate your knowledge. Some of you want to know something about it. That is probably the deal of the century of doing this. And if you don't, that's fine. I'm just saying this, but the ones who do, you will not be disappointed. I'm doing it as a fundraiser for a project we're about to do for us with Project Black. And so your support will be pretty cool. Yes, Howard Hughes was the big man when it comes to space research that I found out. And if anyone was going to know when and how these aliens was landed, it will be Howard Hughes. So that's where we pivoted to where we're going with everything and why he is labeled the king of Area 51. And no, you have not heard of that. Okay. He is the king of Area 51, and you have not heard of that scenario pretty much for these. Now, I want to say this. Let me make sure y'all understand where I'm going with this. All right. Listen to what I'm just saying. Okay. Because I just got a text and I just want to make sure I clarify. People, this is not one ebook that I'm telling you for $40. It's 400 separate ebooks on UFO. This is not just one ebook. Okay, I just got a message and she said save an ebook, but I'm saying, hey, no, I mean, not to what the text, but I'm saying to you, for those who listening, maybe I misrepresented this. It is 400 separate ebooks that's out there in the marketplace of all about UFOs, everything in PDF forms, and it's in a Google Drive. And this is the research over the years and years. Not even some of the best ufologists has all of this information that will make you experts. You can get into your astros. Everything you want is sitting here in these PDFs. 400 of them, okay? For $40, 400 of them. And I just want you to know. So if you decide to do that. All right. So, well, that's cool. Yeah. So anyway, that's one of the deals that I just want y'all to know. And pretty much it makes sure you get you a copy of all that. Just email and make sure you text your in the cash out or PayPal that's scrolling across the bottom. Make sure you put your email address within it, and PayPal send fans and friendly family and friends. Well, anyway, make sure you yeah, it's a lot of ebooks, Seagrave. It's a lot of information. Maybe that's scaring some people. I'm only going to do 10, and there's a few left that I would do. But I will say shame on anyone who's in this space and want to become knowledgeable, that I just gave you the opportunity. And it's going to help me with a project that I'm working on, and I'm just giving the form away. But it's going to bring you into this fray of information and catch up, and you will never, ever be misunderstood in this particular space ever again. And you can stand next to anyone, myself and anybody, when it comes down to the knowledge that you're going to gather from that. So once again, it's right there. You can PayPal or you can cash out, which is at the bottom of the screen. Make sure your email address sometime tomorrow. Give me until tomorrow. I'll start sending that out to you all, the Google Drive that you will be able to download. All right. So that's enough promotion of that. Okay. I'm just trying to, give you an opportunity. I didn't know what you're finding out now, but the research shows that Howard Hughes was not only controlling Hollywood, but this guy had his hands in every freaking cookie jar in the world. Now, once again, he knew when the alien was here, and it will be Howard Hughes and designs that built and flew personally the world's fastest airplane, and had a transparent, what they call nose cone, which contained a camera. He actually was the person that got into the technology of our spy planes. Now, to inspire the development of many future espionage aerospace projects, Howard Hughes was in bed with the CIA. Oh, yeah. Now I'm getting ready to come to you now. Howard Hughes in bed with the CIA when it comes down to this phenomena. And we already know the CIA was going to the mind control. I just told you previously, before we got deep into this conversation, how Bob Hope and they was using the entertainment industry. The entertainment industry appears to be the power that seduces everyone into all of these different things. Once again, it's going to tie all the way back to the lessons and knowledge that they learn. And it makes sense. So let me just boil this down to you. It makes sense that the tactics that are being used today on society was employed by some alien races, because we outnumber just about anybody that comes visiting this freaking planet. You're talking billions and billions of people, and you got to be able to figure out a way that you're going to control 1 billion people. You can't just have one gun. One gun is not going to control 1 billion people. One ray gun, I don't care if you got the technology to blow up the entire state building in one fatal blow, but when there's billions of people walking here, that ain't enough. It is simply not enough. You have to get into tactics of the mind. You have to control the masses through ideology, symbolisms, stories, all the things that we find out. And it goes back, in order to do your bidding, you're going to need human subjects to be able to put in front, whether it's the power of politicians, religious leaders, all of these things. All this stuff has to be embedded. And as I'm doing more research, these people weren't playing. They wanted to do some things from there. It also, from Howard Hughes's connection to the CIA on these projects, it led to a lifetime obsession for him with the secret technology and purchasing hundreds of acres around Groom Lake. This dude, he started purchasing land around Groom Lake, S4, Area 51, the Mercury test sites. This dude was doing it all. All right. And so it's something that he probably knew when it comes down to alien technology. And so I think it's one of those things that you will definitely want to put it into perspective. Of course, we want to put it into perspective when it comes down to this. And so I'm just really excited, again, that Howard Hughes, which we all know, and I don't know him. I'm not excited for what he has done. I'm more excited the fact of making the discovery that these people were playing a different game. All right, so Boyd Bushman, you don't really know who this was, but he was a former employee of Howard Hughes who claimed that he had a top secret clearance at Area 51, and he saw aliens at the base. He physically saw them walking around. In fact, there was a picture. If you go look it up on the internet, Boyd Bushman, he held up photos of a plastic alien toy. And however, when the Black Vault, y'all know who that is, and this guy does a lot of information out there, but the Black Vault actually heard about it too, and he ended up doing a FOIA act. So this is all true stuff, and from the FBI, and astonishingly, the FBI did indeed confirm that Boyd Bushman was in fact a former employee with the above top secret credentials. And he had worked for Lockheed Martin on projects relating to anti-gravity. So why did he show a plastic toy? Could it be disinformation? Why would this guy want to put up a plastic toy of an alien? And it's like he did it at the time. Nobody knew he worked there. He was just putting up a picture. And so I'm thinking maybe that was his way at the time before, John Greenwald did the FOIA Act, that he was trying to signal to us that aliens are real. He was probably saying, hey, and all right, so why would he do that? So I'm starting to look at, we got a lot of people historically that has been coming out trying to tell us the existence of extraterrestrials and alien beings. Now, of course, we get a lot of pushback every day. Every day we're getting all these pushbacks from these scenarios of people saying, they exist, they don't exist, they're real, or maybe not. Why would we believe such a thing, such whatever? And so I think it's really crazy at the end of the day to think that through, that they don't exist. And the fact that all these people who don't know each other, but coming up with some of the most incredible proof, are now saying these things are doing it. Body Electric says the film industry used the birth of nations to scare white folks about black people, and legislation and Jim Crow laws was in the result. Yeah, I think the actual plan of everything is the fact that the industry of entertainment is probably one of the most powerful mind seductive control elements. Now, I'm going to say this too, that I also think that on the flip side of that same fence, there was a lot of people in the film industry that put out information that is true to make awareness to our civilization. And they do this because this keeps them not getting their heads and losing everything they own, because they can put it under the field of entertainment, and who would actually believe it. Now, I'm sure behind the scenes they're getting approached with, how did you know this? Where do you get this information from? What you put in this movie was really top secret, but you made it into entertainment. And I'm sure they get that all the time. So I'm not saying that because there's things that I've watched. So, for example, the Planet of the Apes. The Planet of the Apes, as I start looking at it now, I believe we are the apes and the planet is us. And the stories that they're doing was this, because if you look at the most recent Planet of the Apes and the evolution of it, it's all about Christianity, or believing in false gods and prophets and all of this thing, and the power of how people were conquered. It was just so many symbolisms and stories in that, from the fasci for the fasces, when it came down to how come together. And Caesar did that when he said, break the stick and put many sticks together, we're a lot stronger. That come from the Roman tactics of ruling people. And the symbol is a fasci or whatever, which you can find that in our Senate hearings. If you go to the Senate hearing, you'll see the symbol right next to our senators with the axe on it, and the axe head represents God from historically. So these people have been putting these symbols and control factors on us all the time. But in that movie, which we can now refer to as the equinox or the seasons or Christianity, even with Caesar, and Caesar goes back to the Roman side of things, if you go back to that. But in the last Planet of the Apes, it was all twisted, but there were some disciples saying, hey, people don't know the truth, which is the stories that we get today. And I'm not going into that. I can go into that so deep. You don't want to hear all of that. But back in Vegas, Howard Hughes was the king of nightclubs too. While out in the desert, he was privy to Majestic 12, okay? And Edward Telling was constructing Howard Hughes Hobby Shop, which is an electronic corporation that had many customized telecommunication projects wired with S4, Groom Lake, Area 51. Now, of course, Area 51 was the nickname of the military base located in southern portions of Nevada in the western United States, 83 miles northwest of downtown Las Vegas. So you should know that. But located at the center of this, on the southern shore of Groom Lake, is a large secret military airfield. Now, the base's primary purpose is to support development and testing of experimental aircraft and weapons system. But unfortunately, in 2013, the story of Area 51 was finally officially acknowledged is incorrect. They are just saying that the story of that. Now, they had a lot of stuff that was forbidden. I got a document right here, the Federal Bureau of Investigations. And above is the Bushman reality did work. This guy, when he came out, because you got to remember, they were saying that it was for military experiments and all that. And this was up until these people start coming back saying, no, this was there for human, what's the word I'm looking for alien tech, right? And alien conservation and alien reverse engineering. And because, of course, we know the greatness of Bob Lazar starts saying that as well. And so, as I can show you here, I was with Bob Lazar, saw him this past weekend. So that was a great experience when I was speaking on Project Black. And there he is right there in the photograph. And so he got a new project working on. They showed it to me and some stuff. You're going to be blown away. I can't give you the name and all that. I promise not to say it. They gave me some photographs of some things. It was pretty cool. From there, Roderick, your dialogue is making sense to something I've wondered about some time, that being how YouTube was able to pay so much for content creators before, and ads were being sold on a large scale. Yeah, it's a lot of people. YouTube are doing that, but again, this particular phenomenon, when it comes down to, is a great way, not this, but entertainment media, to control a lot of people from there. All right, so an area survey of the entire site can be watched on several channels on YouTube. So you can go there, reveal some astounding small circular parking bays, idea to what they call a Hannibal type flying saucers. Now, these old videos could be very freaking large aircraft, alien craft that was so big that they can't go into the hangars of Area 51. So they just park. But because the way they're shaped from an area view, you really can't see the dimensions or details that it was possibly some type of alien craft. Now, the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, established Groom Lake Test Facility during Project Aquatone, through which Lockheed U-2 spy plane was eventually developed, very much following the original design that had been specified by Howard Hughes when it comes down to this. Now, this picture here, I'm not going to kind of get into it. It's sitting here on my screen. But this is the Vegas showgirl, Jane Mansfield, which was another Howard Hughes employee who was also a member of the Church of Satan. You heard what I just said. She was a member of the Church of Satan, and she posed with the Jewish head of the cult who wrote the Devil's Bible. Now, they both have ringside seat at Sammy Davis Vegas shows, which I'm now seeing that Sammy Davis Jr. or Vegas or whatever his name is, Sammy Davis, y'all know what I'm talking about, was connected to satanic stuff too. He was a satanic worshiper, but he was also presented as the great one to the people, to our communities. And so imagine the control that they was put out. Man, this stuff gets really crazy. Now, again, attending the shows were bosses Nellis and Vandenberg of the Air Force bases and the staff. So they had all of these people. All of these people were attending these shows, worshiping Satan's, the Bible. Now, okay, so let me give you another thing that I'm reading and finding, and I'm just saying this. There's a lot of people, when you think about some of the musicians and the elites, says the story that we know of Satan is not the true story that we know. And maybe it's not the evil person in the Bible. I'm not confirming that today, and I'm not saying that. But when you go back to a lot of these powerful people, somehow they have been worshiping this particular venue. Now, it's worth noting that I am doing some research. I'm just trying to see what's going on. But like I say, I'm not putting it out there to do this. But when I now start to hear satanic or Satan itself, the cringe is not where it used to be when I was young based on my Christian background. Now it's more or less part of the truth and seeking what is really going on, because all this stuff is rituals and cults and all of this stuff. So their stories are out there. Diana says, the godmother of the channel says she met James Mansfield. Wow. Who would have known? Yeah. Okay, then. Cool. There you go. Also capable, the spacecraft stuff was capable of flying at high altitude while carrying sophisticated cameras and systems. So the U-2 was created with a single engine and long tapered wings at the request of the U-2 designers, Clarence L. Kelly. So this is where the CIA supposedly came into bed with Howard Hughes, but also was there with Area 51, as though they all were sharing this information. Now, Lockheed developed projects division. Lever was dispatched to the locations. Now, I'm not going to get into all that because but it's all about something called Aquatone program. So I want y'all to kind of look that up, get with me, email me on it so that we can get a little more information about Aquatone, and then we can talk about it later on in the road. Now, the other part of this seems to meet the program's stringent security requirements. Rentlin, which is something we talked about earlier, was part of our weapons defense systems. Now, what's starting to make sense, it's probably why the big secret keepers in the U.S. government is really try to stay in control of the UFO stuff all over the world. Because at some point now it is making very good sense that our country has reverse engineered these products in such a way that is keeping the country in dominant positions. And if some other country that is smaller, behind in technology, get some of this technology, then they can advance in the war machine era and therefore pose a threat to the sovereign or security of the United States of America. Who knows? And so if that is the case, then I think we all probably over here who are living under the freedom that we have and the access that we have to society and life from over here probably want to agree that our way of life should be sustained. In some areas, we know that it's not that good for everybody, but at some point there are some other countries out there that experience some things that none of us will want to deal with on a daily basis and could even comprehend what some of these people are going through in other world countries. And so you tend to say, oh, there are some good benefits of being over here. Now, if we get back to that airstrip, the airstrip was called Nellis Auxiliary Field Number 1, was located just off the eastern side of Groom Dry Lake, about 100 miles north of Las Vegas. It was also just outside the Atomic Energy Commission's AEC, the nuclear proving ground of Yukon Flats, or the proving ground for Yukon Flats, or Yucca Flats, I'm sorry. But is this just a coincidence? Is the question when I start finding out this information. I'm like, wow, is it a coincidence that this is one of these things? Because the actual site of Yucca Flats was indeed the headquarters of Edward Teller's hydrogen bomb research facility, which did not work either. This thing at the time didn't work, and Edward Teller was the unofficial boss of the most secretive of all deep state projects, known as Majestic 12. See, these are all secret stuff that we don't hear about, that I'm just bringing into the light today for our conversation to talk about the real kings of this alien stuff. All right, we hear all these other stories, but this here is kind of revealing some stuff, and some of this stuff in here you don't want to really play with. You don't want to play with in going to that. Let me take a drink here. All right, so as Diana says, yes, we need more likes for the video. If you have not done that, make sure you do likes for the video so we can kind of keep going with this. And again, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. If you have not voted, please go ahead and do so. If you want the energy of this coffee that people are now buying, and we'll do a little more head promotions on that, let's do that as well. And so all of this, again, is something that we can look into. So this takes us to what we call the deep state technology. Which at this point is way ahead of its time. Because you're talking back in 1947, the U.S. Force developed, the Air Force at the time developed a robotic missile airplane which could intercept UFOs. See, these are things that we really don't talk about. So our technology, and they have already been knowing about these UFOs and aliens back some time, which goes back to the story of the Roswell, New Mexico crash. Well, there are two crashes. Did we shoot something down? Did we use some new technology to bring down some of these aircrafts? And if that's the case, now we can understand the alien side of things, because the humans are barbaric. We've been shooting at them for quite some times. I did a story that was on Fox 2B, or no, the Discovery Channel, Alien Endgame, where I interviewed Torres, and his dad was actually ordered to fire on a UFO when it came down to the government, told him, hey, go fire on this UFO. And Milton Torres. So look up the story. And so his son and all us was in a documentary together when it comes down to this. So at this point, we have now the most probable response to the crash disk flying saucer sites of that same year. So I'm going to bag up and put this together because I broke it down here into two parts. The deep state technology was way ahead of its time back in 1947 when the U.S. Air Force developed a robotic missile airplane. Now, I got a picture of the schematics of this, and I'm just not going to put it here on the screen. But it was back in 1947 is the blueprints of this particular thing, which now people are saying was probably in response to the crash disk and flying saucers, and saying that this was probably what brought these things down. at the time. Now, Project MX800 is a 9-month study and research program calling for investigations in a connection with the development of supersonic air-to-air pilot aircrafts used for guided missiles for destruction of high-performance hostile aircraft. So although we make these things in defense for ourselves, in which it kind of makes sense to say that all of this is saying that we probably have all of these different technologies, which are back engineered, okay, which are back engineered from all of these different things, but at the same time coming from alien technology. All right. Alien technology is what's going on. Y'all give Philly Cat a shout out for putting up the links and everything else. She's probably one of the hardest working moderators that we have. And so I appreciate it. Y'all give her a shout out. The missiles is to have tactical range of 6,000 yards, a speed of order 1,500 miles per hour, to be used against 750 miles per hour aircraft. So now you're saying we got missiles up here who can shoot now anything. Now it gets a little deeper where we're about to go, especially when it gets down to MJ12. Google, the CIA, Wikipedia, YouTube, Google, the CIA. Google owns YouTube, Wikipedia, and many other these co-op government contractors. Yeah, I know. Did you not know that some of these people are government contractors? You better believe they are. You better damn believe that they are. Okay. All right. So Google, the CIA, Wikipedia, YouTube, and many other co-op government contractors have seemingly conspired to wash the internet clean of the once numerous website video clips which claim ufologist James Shandor received an envelope containing film which, when developed, show images of 8 pages of document that appeared to be briefing papers describing Operation Majestic 12. So once again, it makes a lot of sense. Why wouldn't you? If I wanted to make sure that detrimental information didn't get out on me or different things, and I was a big time private contractor, the first thing I probably would do would hire who controls the internet right now. And that would be Google, Microsoft, all of these people, the CIA, who controlling content right now, YouTube, and everything else. And don't get me wrong. Some people say, well, YouTube is suppressing the videos. Well, I don't know. Well, I do know. But what I'm saying is, if a video got 100,000 views or something, that ain't nothing compared to a Mr. Beast video that got 23 million views. So if you got some bad information or information that is going to expose some people that's getting 23 million views, that's an issue. If it's getting Roderick Martin's channel, who's got 15,000 people or 17,000 subscribers at the time, and the video is 2,000 views, they're not worrying about that. They're not worrying about that. Although it poses a simple threat of truth if it begins to gain speed and everything else. And so sometimes that makes you feel that the algorithm works against us in most cases. And it could, because this is not something, again, that they want us to put out there. And so we just kind of have to look at it from that standpoint. So once again, let's get into details. Let's get into an understanding of what we could do and what is happening here when it comes down to it. Again, if you're finding information, and as I do the things that I'm talking about with you, and even Iwa is talking about holographic technology and images and all this stuff. I got all that information in my 400 ebook thing here. All right, so I'm only going to talk about this and offer it some more. Like I said, I was just hoping 10 people. And if you are someone who can and want to get this information, I'm hoping that you go ahead and take advantage of this Google Drive that I'm going to send you with 400 ebooks about UFOs and related problem PDFs, 3 gigs of information. These are books. If you tried to buy all these books, you would probably just spend at least on average about $8 the $10,000. Even if the books were 16, let's just say the ebooks were $15 each, and all of a sudden you were buying this, you're talking 1,500, at least 6,000 bucks of information that you will not be disappointed, and you'll be in this game for forever. You're in the game forever, and you can just choose what you want to read about the Bermuda Triangle, crop circles, all of this stuff. And like I said, I am totally shocked, number one, but that's okay. Maybe it's a money situation, because there are some of you who I know are educators, not just educators, but you guys are researchers and you're really into this, that you will want some information. And there are some of you I've known, and I'll say this personally, I know you and I know some of you. There's oftentimes y'all put some stuff in the chat that I know is not true. I'm not going to call you out and say, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. But I will say to you, for some of you, getting this information is going to change your outlook and information and your status when it comes down to what is happening in this UFO space and all of that. So if you decide to do that, you better do it. The Cash App is sitting there. The information is there. And like I said, you won't see this ever offered again, and pretty much, and you're going to wish you would have. And everything else. But also you're helping me with a project that I will then give those people, when the time comes in a few weeks, your accolades for something that you're going to live on with the project forever. So I'll thank you for that when the time comes. But anyway, back to what I was saying, you got Google, you got the CIA, you got Wikipedia, you got YouTube. All of these people and these government contractors have conspired to wash the internet clean of numerous informations from video clips, all this stuff that are being claimed, showed images. And so when this person came out at the time, which was Jamie Shadera, had the Majestic 12 documents. The U.S. Air Force have publicly stated that the documents are fake. But we have to think about this. Everyone knows that everyone like brush his comments or Boyd Bushman's confession aside. Remember, Boyd Bushman was the one that was showing at the time, he was showing the alien stuff, and everybody was like, nah, no, and pretty much from there. And Dinah, you don't have to have a computer to download it. Google Drive, you can access over your phones. You can look at everything. So it's made for any type of media device, and it stays in the drive. So you'll have access to my personal drive. I'll share it with you for the people, and then you can download whatever you want to read whenever you want to read. It'll be there forever in the cloud. So you don't have to have a computer to do that, and pretty much. But anyway, one of the things about this was, remember Boyd Bushman confession, until that FOIA Act by John Greenwald from the Black Vault request proved that he really worked there for Howard Hughes and Lockheed. He really did experience in top-level programming investigating anti-gravity, which later on, Bob Lazar came out of this thing. So it's one of those things. So we're at the opinion that MJ-12 documents first release are indeed fakes, is what people are saying, but they are based upon several kernels of truth. So you can have two things in one, some truth and not, whatever. But the MJ-12 documents purported to reveal a secret committee of 12, supposedly authorized by the United States President Harry S. Truman in 1952, and explains how the crash of alien spacecraft at Roswell needed to be concealed. Now we can look at it today and we can notice that all of this stuff was actually happening. This stuff was actually happening, right? And so when you think about it, it just takes it to a whole nother level. Much of MJ-12 activity took place in hangars. Listen to this, which I've been following this story for quite some time. Most of all of MJ-12's activities were done in the hangars of Howard Hughes. They was in his hangars. So that lets you know right there that this connection is huge when it comes down to this. It's really crazy. And when you think about the wiki pages, the wiki leaks, and the fact checked on Google websites, and all this stuff is probably all working together, then the retentive liberal snowflakes now sit where let me back up for a minute. They're hiding all this shit. Let me just put that together before I read the formal statement here. They're hiding it. They're making sure that they're controlling the flow of information that we can search for. So it makes me wonder, and I'm sure a lot of you have, even with AI, if you're trying to do some research on AI, especially in my topic, which is why those files that I was offering you is so freaking important to you. I'm starting to get things from AI saying these are banned words. And so I have to kind of take my whole one question away and break it down and find out which word are they trying to keep in association to a topic. So we can't assume that AI is our friend. It's another control mechanism. It's another control mechanism, and it's powerful. It is very powerful, very, very, very powerful. And like I said, they are hiding something. They've been hiding something from us, and they're going to continue to hide from us. They're going to continue all of that stuff, and they're going to continue to do it. So, yes, the websites, clips have been erased. But what has not been erased from what we call the public is the letter, and then the Oppenheimer thing, the Albert Einstein recommending how United States should engage with extraterrestrial life, all these stuff that was popping up, the Bob Lazar stories, which he's doing new projects and stuff. And so they can't hide this stuff. They cannot hide all of these things. And again, this is why this goes on, and we have to be a little more vigilant in what we see and know. One of those things. And so I'm just telling you, don't count on none of that stuff, from there. I said earlier that the Nazis came in and changed it all. I said that at the beginning of our conversation. And if you go back to the Nazis deep state have been operating from the royal state at Gotha in Germany since the 1800s. So the Nazis been into this UFO thing for quite some time. And Gotha aerospace factories developed and flew airships long before powered flights were meant to even have been perforated by the Wright brothers. And so I'm talking about they had jet engines, radar, invisible stealth stuff were already flying around the world even before reported as UFOs as far as back as 1947. So the Nazis, and it makes you wonder, any of these countries that have technology like this, and why did they didn't use it, or how did they let another country destroy them, or how did somebody else take in control? All right, so it is, let me say it again. So Philly Cat is saying 40 books. Let me put this on the screen. So I need y'all to read the screen. Everybody read the screen. So I don't have to say this again. What you see is 400 books. Not 40, not 1, not 10, not 30, not 30 plus 2. 100 times 4 is 400. It will take you forever of years that I've took to even look through most of this stuff, but your knowledge will grow. So I want to make sure y'all understand what we have. And so even my moderators, 400. Y'all put it in the chat. All my moderators, it is 400 books about UFOs. They're all PDFs and in a Google Drive. If y'all can please express 400 books, okay? Not 40, 400. Oh yeah, for 40 bucks. All right, so you're correct on that. I'm gonna stand corrected. Yes, 400 for 40 bucks. 40 for 40. Yeah, you can't beat that. It's 10 cents for knowledge. All right, and I think some of y'all crazy for not doing this. Maybe it's a money thing. I get it. And maybe you're not serious about what you think you want to be, but it's going to blow you away. And I'm just putting your thoughts where everything is. Now I'm challenging your status quo. I'm telling you that if you think you want to be in this game, here it is. This is how I got on TV. This is how I'm talking to you. This is how all this information, you can't just get this from, I don't give you everything because it's impossible. But if you want to be this for the next 10 years and you want to get ahead of the game, it's about what you read and understand. And if I was not working on a project, I wouldn't put it out here. Why? Because I went through hell trying to accumulate all this knowledge. Okay. I went through hell trying to do it, but I need your help. And if I asked for your help for the project, you probably wouldn't do it. So I want to do what we call reciprocity. I want to give you something you can't refuse. But if you're refusing it, shame on you. That's cool. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? And don't worry about it. So we will do those things and all that as well. So it's all good. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to let y'all know. So it's once again, like I said, just 10 people really, and you might go 12 because 10 of you, but I will say it had not been 10 people who's doing this tonight, maybe 4 or 5, 3, 4 or 5. I'm shocked, but it tells me a lot though. It really tells me a lot. This is why people are being controlled, because we don't want to open our minds, and your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. So yeah, I just got a little twig with it because I wanted to make sure you all understand what is happening and what is not happening, and all of those things. Yeah, only $40. If you want it, we love Canada. You can cash out, put in your email address, and tomorrow I'll send it out, or you can use PayPal. Fans of whatever they call it, family and friends, $40. I'll have your email from PayPal, and I will send you my access to my Google Doc collection, my study, my growth of all things that you will have. According to the official confirmed Canadian military documents, Robert Oppenheimer was involved in Majestic 12 investigation of aliens. Oppenheimer was an aerospace interested in the occult. You go back to where I'm going with this is the occult. The occult is connected to everything. Now, occult doesn't necessarily mean nothing bad. It means, I think, the truth or secrets or something. There is a literal definition. Let me look it up right now because I want to make sure I put this out here so that y'all will know what I'm saying. But the occult meaning is definitely something else. The meaning of occult. So I know a lot of us hear that and we think all of this stuff, but there is a true meaning of occult. All right. Now, in some cases, it's a secret study, alchemy, and occult, but also could be involving magical powers phenomena, and it's actually has another meaning. I gotta find it, but it's not. It's about secrets or information when it comes down to this. And so we will look the unseen. Okay, supernatural. All right, so all of those things. I think it's pretty much from there. And but I just want you to know that we are at that point, the unknown. All right, so start looking at it when you hear these things so that you don't cringe and think negative from there. So, yeah, that's it. Put that on screen right there. There, your breakdown. You get 400 books of libraries, mere $40. That's 10 cents a book. Use your Cash App, then email your name and whatever. You can actually put your email in the Cash App notes when you do that, in pretty much. So, and I'm gonna say this to you. I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean this in a negative way. There's a lot of people who text and email me for information, or they want to know this. And when I start putting our inner circle together, and I'm doing that right as we speak, because as of this past week, nothing would be the same. I don't need to go through certain basic stuff when I am opening my inner circle's people up to the inside data of information. And it behooves me that there are some of them that may not take this. And some people who may not talk or whatever. I'm just saying. But there's some of y'all got gifts. Some of y'all is going to be tomorrow's next thought leaders, and you're going to tie stuff into it. So that's my last other push. I'll bring it up before we end the show. But at this place, we can do what we're doing from there. And yeah, so let's just go to where we are, and we will push the narrative here. All right, so if you start going back to Oppenheimer, he was briefed by Albert Einstein And together they wrote a letter to the president giving him advice on how to meet and greet celestial beings. How is this possible? Albert Einstein, all of these historic people that we have are generally connected to the extraterrestrial phenomena. Do y'all get what I'm saying with this? This is the same thing where I'm offering you information, because obviously within the life that we exist on this planet, and what I'm learning and how to excel, or maybe take some of the principles, or maybe how you're going to worship the sun, okay, and astrology, and how all of this stuff is connected, the secret behind religion and why religion is controlling us. It is time for you to go and start searching for an alternate method of knowledge and truth in some of the stories that some of these people, and you can begin to put pieces together, because what you think you know is not out in the public. They're washing the internet. They're washing the videos. They're washing stuff on some of these platforms that you're not going to get if that thing pertinent pulls up. They got AI listening to the verbiage of videos. They got AI listening for, AI is reading the thumbnail text, okay? Is reading everything. And when there's something there that you are not supposed to be hearing or seeing, you're not going to see it. But you can get it passed down through our co-ops of information, because we all don't gather things. I got books in there that none of you ever seen in public again, all right? And I am just cherished to do that. And I told you about some of the experiences I had. I was just on the phone from the people I met at the event, teaching me better ways of meditation. She was teaching me how to look at things. I make sure that with my inner circle, I'm not going to put it out here, but it's something that would change all of your life, because my life has changed in the last 24 hours. I'm like, oh my God. But it's things that, it's knowledge that we should be pursuing, and we should be looking at those things. Now, what more proof do we need? Albert Einstein, Robert Oppenheimer wrote a letter to the president giving him advice on how to meet and greet extraterrestrials. How to meet and greet extraterrestrials? Are you freaking kidding me? What kind of, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm saying they had a plan. They had a plan, not an action plan, but they was informing people that they already had the extraterrestrial knowledge. Einstein, so all of this is beginning to say this. Some of the smartest people on the planet, were they really the smartest people on the planet, or did they obtain knowledge from the stars? So we can talk about the Dogon tribe, but that's going to take me out of the context of the story tonight. But I'm saying to you, the true knowledge that we all should be seeking is going to be what is happening in the alien territory, which boils into consciousness, which I'm starting to read and find out that the whole purpose of us being here on the planet as humans, the creation, the plan, the test, the whole thing is for us to grow spiritually. I'm reading that now. I'm putting 2 to 2, 3, 6 together. We're supposed to grow spiritually, but we cannot grow spiritually learning religiously. Okay? You can take that to the bank. You will not grow spiritually learning religiously. Hey, that's my whole new statement. Let me write that shit down. I'm going to use that. Yeah, I'm going to use that right now. And yeah, so I'm just letting you know right now. I'm keeping that. I'm going to tagline it or something, put it on a shirt. You cannot grow spiritually learning religiously. That is just not going to happen. But everything out there for you to consume is based upon religious factors. So the secret of spirituality is being hidden in some of the most precarious ways, and it goes deeper than just some of the simple stuff that we do know that leaks out. It is deep, deep stuff. Okay. It is deep stuff. And I can't tell you these are the discoveries I've been making on my journey. So as my content shifts, as my knowledge shifts, I'll shift some of your awareness to what we're doing. And now I know why I call this high strange. There's some strange sugar honey iced tea out there. It's some strange stuff. It really is some strange stuff. All right. So when they wrote the letter to President, they was talking about how to meet celestial beings. This thing was 12 pages. It was written by two scientists responsible for splitting the atom and causing the world's first nuclear explosion. I'm starting to study that the atom is the cause of everything when we discovered it. I'm reading some books right now that talks about life on other planets. Everything evolved around the atom, and the destruction of Mars and all these other places was because we harnessed the power of the atom and we turned it into a nuclear reaction that causes explosions. And so when you start going back to the pyramids, you start going back to all the ancient civilizations that's been here, it's a matter of wonder of time how long we're going to be here, because at some point we're approaching up on the same historic things that have changed this planet millions of years ago, not thousands. This thing's been around a long time. So this is, and then if something was to happen, because one of my biggest wonders was, okay, so what would happen if there was some type of alien or missile or extension level event that happened? What happened to civilization? What happened to all this? Well, anything that sits around for hundreds of thousands of years, you, myself, this computer is going to, over time, turn dust to dust. It is the conditions of the world is going to evaporate it. Now we still got some elements. However, whoever built the pyramids, they knew that we're going to send a symbol. We're going to put something together. I know I'm going off on a tangent. I know I am, but they have put things in place that they knew would be past the test of time. It will pass all of the elements. It will pass all of destruction. It will pass floods. It will pass, erosion and all of these things. And so those pyramids was designed to give us indicators of the past, because everything else over millions of years have been destroyed over and over and over and over. Y'all with me? All right. I'm telling you, I'm going deep, man. I've been going deep for days and weeks now. It is just incredible. And I'm coming at y'all in the future. So again, make sure you get your information, read some stuff, from that point. There we go. I'm gonna put that on stage. You will not grow spiritually, learning religiously. Yeah, we're going to put that on a shirt. Let me put that, make sure. Yeah. And just in real time, y'all. That statement is in real time right there. And it's got its own rhyme. We're going to do that. I'm just writing it out because I said it. You heard it here. Yeah. I said it and I represent that and mean that. There you go. Thank you for just putting that up. At least somebody heard me. At least I felt someone heard me. He put it on the screen, gave me a little kudos for it. Thank you. Sometime I don't know if they're listening. I don't know if anybody's listening. I get it. All right. So we're going to go. There's a relationship with inhabitants of celestial bodies. I got the thing here and I'm not going to go into it, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty weird that you're going to have the thing. So basically, in the obvious existence of super secret facilities in the Mojave Desert, a facility which had roots in deep state projects by NASA, CIA, Howard Hughes, the United States Air Force Office of Special Investigations stated there is no such Majestic 12 committee and have been authorized or formed, or the documents were bogus, and the FBI subsequently declared the documents bogus. Ladies and gentlemen, but the letter of celestial beings and the protocol of how aliens meet aliens, or how we meet aliens, written by Albert Einstein and Robert Oppenheimer, is controversial fact. These two people, Oppenheimer and Einstein, were indeed colleagues of Edward Teller, who was allegedly in charge of an alien-backed engineering project in the Mojave Desert. Indeed, Edward Teller was the chairman of MJ-12. So you get where I'm going with this. And that's the end of my information tonight. I'm saying this to say that it's beyond the fact of waking up is what people say. It's time for us to wake up. No, you're woke. You've been woke. It's just that there are certain caps that won't allow you to interpret or go further. It's kind of like these 18-wheelers. You know, some of them have a cap on their engine where they cannot drive 100 miles an hour. They can only go 85, no matter how much you hold the gas down. It is just done that way. Now, it's for safety. But who's thinking knowledge blockage is safety? Now, I would assume, not assume, but I will be the first to admit, as I've gone further in my quest for knowledge, that, I start to think that there are certain things we should not deal with, we should not know about, because can we totally handle the truth? We all are searching for the truth. We all saying that we want the truth. And that is what we're saying. But I'm saying to myself, saying it's, do we really want the truth? Can we handle the truth? Is all that I'm saying. And I'm not saying that you personally can't handle the truth. I'm not saying that. So don't take it personal when you say, well, I can handle that. Yeah, a person can handle anything, mostly. But people is a whole different ballgame. People knowing something in the masses is a whole different ballgame. And how do I know that? Because the big secret keepers don't give a darn about a few people or persons knowing the secrets. What they care about is people, the masses, knowing the secrets. Secret societies all have their own intentions, these cults and secret societies, to control the New World Order in the way they want. But they all bag up to say, okay, we're going to install some type of religious doctrine. So it's all the same playbook. These secret societies, they all hide. This is where the occult is. Okay, so that goes back to what some people were putting in the chat, occult meaning the unknown. So thank you for that. And that brings me back into bringing this up. So when you got these occults and when you have the occults put together, and we are thinking the Illuminati and all of these skulls and bones, they are secret societies, and Jay-Z and all these people are part of the Illuminati. Well, hell, there's a flip side to this. They know something we don't know. They're accessing information that we don't have privilege to. And to be honest with you, they're controlling life. Jay-Z and all these, I'm not saying, okay, we're going to put to the side the crazy shit that they do, or wherever the stuff that you have to do to be, placed into these organizations, whatever the word I'm looking for. But I'm saying if the word occult means unknown, that I have now discovered truly, okay? And if these occults are in existence, they're in existence because they're trying to do a new world order, and through a new world order, they're going to form their secret societies. But what they all know, all of them, I don't care whoever they are, all of these secret society knows one thing and one thing only: we can rule the masses through religion. They know this. And it's been the bedrock principle and playbook since we've been on this freaking planet. Y'all, you read me? And this is why you heard me say you cannot grow spiritually learning religiously. I'm going to stand by that truth. I'm telling you, there's no way in hell, and if there even a hell, that you're going to grow spiritually every day consuming religious dogma is presented through commercials, TV, and everything else. And when I begin to offer you an opportunity to grow your mind, have access to information, and you say to yourself, now, if it's a money situation, I get it because I've been there and done that. If it's a money situation, then their plan is working because we all should be at some point having some type of life that is not about that, and we can figure out the secrets to how to get wealth. If it's not just wealth, everyday, whatever. Okay. So did I come up with a plan? Yes, I did. So I'll tell you what. I may have spent all this time to try to gather this information, but if 10 people want to do this information for $40, then okay, then I figured out a way for the project that I'm working on to gain some type of wealth. Okay. So back to what I'm saying, and I'm saying this cold-heartedly, these secret societies, this information is all designed to keep us in the dark because the powers want to control powers. All right, I believe it. I believe it 100%. I'm saying this right now. I'm going to put it back up here, and let's kind of see y'all having conversations here in whatever. Okay. All right, so at this point, once again, maybe 5 of you more, okay? And that's it, 10. And you might get lucky to keep it going, but you ain't going to see this again. Why for? I don't see why. But if you hear you just joined us, as I've been doing this show all night tonight, 400 books, not 1, not 10, these are all UFO aliens connecting you to understand the truth out there, because that's where it is. I don't care wherever it is. It's based in hiding who created us and where we're coming from, and all of these connections is right there. 3.2 gigs. It's PDFs. And yeah, you can go buy all of them on Amazon. You're going to spend $7,000-8,000. Go do it right now. I don't give a go do it. Otherwise, right now, you can cash out, which is at the bottom of the screen, or PayPal. Just put in your email address and give me a day to send it out to you, because there's a whole Google Drive that you're going to have access to. $40. Okay. $40. You're not going to find it anywhere else. You're not going to grow any other place. I don't care who you're listening to. They're going to sell you whatever. They're not going to offer you access, a plethora of information. And I could promise somebody will call me tomorrow. What the F you doing, Roderick? Why do this? Well, I got a project I'm working on. And so if I'm going to receive what I call reciprocity, then I want to give you something in return to ask from you, because I can sit here all day and say, hey, I need the 10 people to donate to the show. But now I'm figuring it out. Nobody does anything, and I'm not blaming you, but I'm going to make sure when I ask from you, I'm going to give you something in return, plain and simple. So let me get back on the soapbox before we get out of here. Keep in mind, 100%. Yes, I can send it to the UK. It's all an email. If you got an email, I can send it anywhere on the planet. I can send it to you on Mars. I would love to send it to you on Mars. You'd be like, where's Mars email? But anyway, yes, Deborah, I can send it to you. All you have to do, Cash App or PayPal me $40 with your email address. If you use PayPal, make sure you send it family and friends, because y'all know how people get. So anyway, I will then get it back to you ASAP. Sometime tomorrow, I'll send y'all a link so you have the drive, and then you'll have a way to communicate with me too, because all of you who have that information, you will be the first in line to be part of our inner circle, because I know you know some shit. I know you're willing to invest, because I don't want people wasting my time, not in the future where we're going now. I need only the serious people, the most serious people who are serious about what we're doing, especially when we're going to reach thousands and thousands of people, to have a comprehensive thought of what is really happening out here and where we're going. Okay, and it's only fair to say that. All right. And so, yeah, there may be access to our secret society. Okay. Yeah, we have our own secret society. Maybe it's a cult. Who knows? But I'm saying to you, if you want invest in your future, just like the Monica says, I don't see Cash App in the UK. Well, you can use PayPal. That's worldwide. There's not a country on the planet that don't have PayPal. The email is right there on the screen. So you can do that. PayPal is going to be the way. They're all over the planet. Everybody uses PayPal. So that's something there. So where I'm going, and as we get ready to come to a close, is to say to you that first of all, let me back up. You make sure there's a lot of new people here, and I'm going to take that down. And I left that up so long I left it up there so long so no one could misunderstand what we're doing in the picture of what was going on. So it was up there for y'all. 5 minutes, 3 minutes. You can't miss it. $40. Contact at waterbigsecret.com is where we're at. And make sure you hit the like button and everything else. And kudos to the few people who have just invested in their knowledge of growth and going to be exceptionally knowledgeable in this situation of the future and where we're going. I just want to say that you're going to be very, very knowledgeable in some stuff. And you'll thank me hundreds of days in the future. All right, so where are we going to go as we come to a close? We're going to go into, let me put this on the screen and just maybe one of you, if you have a story that you want to share of your UFO experience, contact me on my 800 number, 888-345-9121. I will call you back. I'm a day or two behind taking some of those stories, but it's 888-345-9121. So make sure you call and do that and pretty much leave your story. I'll call you back. And this goes into Project Black as we putting stuff together, the website. And I'm going to say this again. We're going to have our first private Project Black. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you very much. We're going to have our first Project Black webinar online. We'll do it in the next 7 to 10 days. I'm working right now, getting the speakers together to start the process of working things out. So I just want to thank those of you who are going to be ready for that. So make sure right around the first of the month, you know about it, you sign up. I think the software system is only going to hold anywhere from 50 people, I think, or 25 to 50, only because of the budget of setting it up. And then we can expand it for the next one. But the interim stuff you don't want to miss and everything else. And so make sure y'all do that. Make sure y'all vote for me for the event. Once again, Roderick Martin, make sure you vote. If you hear on Forbidden Knowledge and all of that stuff, if you watch Forbidden Knowledge, you know that I'm up for a conscious award in the category of these people. Aaron Lyons, Roderick, myself, there's a couple of Seans. And if you don't vote for me, then vote for Aaron. That's my sister, definitely. But I want to win. You know, she's going to be having the ultimate gift at that time. She's expecting her first child. And so that's a bigger gift than a conscious award. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not having no baby. So I want to birth the trophy. Okay. So we want to make sure we do that in pretty much. So if there's any last thing that each and every one of you want to talk, to make sure that my moderators are listening, I want all of my moderators to text the word "I'm here" in the chat. I want all of my moderators text the word "I'm here" in the chat. Okay. And definitely I want each and every one of you to do so. All right. Because if they're not listening, then I know I need to remove my moderators who are not listening. All right. So far, all of them, well, not all of them, well, all of them. Okay. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So all of our 7 moderators are here. So y'all can see who they are. They got the little wrenches by their hands. About their usernames, and then the moderators that has the other little symbol are part of our membership site as well. So those are 2 on the site there. But yeah, okay. So I just want to thank all of my moderators for helping and all of that. So we're going to have some content shift and everything else. And so let me make this final part of this. Once again, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Pay attention to where we're going. We're going to go historically into the content. I'm studying and reading, and I'm finding some real mind-boggling information that's tying all the way back to the secrets. But I am starting to tell you this. I don't care where it is. All roads lead back to extraterrestrial civilizations, period. All of our history, ancient Egyptian, all the way back to the planet, all the way back to the stories. Now the phenomena or the mystery of mankind is leading back to someone created us, someone put us here as we know, or we have evolved, we've been tampered with, we have been improved. But what I will say that the humans here on Earth have turned out to be one of the greatest creations of all of these, however we dropped off, and it's probably why we cause so much havoc, because our growth and all of this stuff is growing so fast. Excuse me. And the fact that we are thinking of the gods of everything, right? And why things are. But we're going to start tying all of this in. Now, I'm saying this to say that eventually the 800 number is going to be advertised pretty soon. And so therefore, I want people to begin the fact that we'll have some of you people answering phone calls, and I won't trust everybody with this. There's no way. I'd rather have some people that are open-minded to other people's experiences, not analyzing these people, but listeners. I know some of y'all personally are not the greatest of the listeners, but you're great at what you do and everything else. But when it comes down to this particular phenomenon and the pains that people are going through, we need listeners. We need people who are compassionate listeners, not share your experience when they're sharing their experience. Y'all, you with me, right? If you got experiences and somebody's calling in on this hotline with their experiences, we need to give them ground zero of our not information, but be in the moment with these people, be in the presence with these people. And this is something I developed and learned over the years, that you cannot do this. And so often people are then think the conversation, because they're sharing it with you, that you need to share what's happening with you. Sometimes people just want to listen. So I want to put together a just a real close knit, but these got to be dependent folks, and we'll work on that over the next few months to come, of people that's answering. Now, that's going to put you in the middle of everything. You're going to hear some great stories. You're going to be there in all of this. But again, it's going to take a special individuals to be able to withstand. And you're going to hear some stuff that you need to make sure that you know how to meditate off your ass at night, because some of these people are carrying some demonic stuff that has attached to them. Now, I'm protected by my crew. I'm protected by my angels. I'm protected by my ancestors and all these places. I have to be, because I tell you the stuff that I've heard and being through this, you wouldn't even hear me. I'll be fucking crazy by now. But the whole point I'm saying is, if you're not prayed up and protected, and you think that your other side of the world is not really tight, then don't volunteer for that type of work, okay? It'll mess you up by Tuesday. You'll hear some over the weekend, and by Tuesday, we can count you out. Okay. And so we can definitely do that. But you have to have a spirit of compassion when it comes to this. Not a spirit of interest. I don't want some nosy people because you just want to know somebody else's business. Then stick with your own business. Okay. So that's a call out there. Let me bring to a close here, and I'll give one more shout out for those of you who want to get access to this information. And if by the time you done sat on this all this time, from crop circles to Bermuda Triangle, Area 51, these are ebooks, Travis Walton, Fire in the Sky, all this stuff is in here. And yes, I'm just trying to put some stuff together. 400 ebooks, 3.2 gigs in my Google Drive, study stuff that's going to bring you up to speed. $40 for 400 information books and all this stuff. Less than 10 cents a book. You won't find that, and you won't find a better opportunity to grow in a place that you want to grow. And if you don't take advantage of this, shame on you. That's all I'm going to tell you, because I don't believe in people that don't like to grow when it comes to knowledge and opportunity. I don't think none of us on here, if I said to you, let's take this expedition down the street and you're going to meet an alien, and any of who don't go, we already know what you're asking for every day is not what it is. Now, okay, yo, Roderick, you $40, I meet an alien. You'll meet an alien in these books. You'll get a comprehension of how to see and understand, because I'm also understanding because of our minds, and because we do not, because we are already trained not to think something exists, is why some of you don't see spacecraft, is why some of you are not meeting extraterrestrial beings, because somehow in your subconscious mind, you're still beat down that they don't exist. And so therefore, the greatest part of this is to keep you into that part. Yeah, on the open, you're here on this channel every week, but you don't have the confidence in the other side that you're saying that this could happen to you, or it will, or it should, or I should walk out here and see something. And if you are made not to see, your vibration level is not going to see it anyway. I'm telling you, I'm learning all of this stuff as I deal with it every day. I'm just giving you some nuggets. I'm giving you nuggets. Hit the like button, And let's get ready to get out of here. And so we can do what we need to do. All right. So it's been a plum pleasing pleasure, as well as a privilege. I'm Roderick Martin, and you're here at Roderick's Martin High Strangeness. And I hope tonight that you found value in what we're talking about tonight and a prelude to where we're going to be going on a journey together. I love each and every one of you. You know it. I tell you all the time, and I mean that, meant that, represent that, because that is the true nature of who I am. And being here for you is to show you love. Even though I have haters who hate me, who says bad things to me and all of those things, and repeatedly come here to remind me that they hate me, remind me of the things that I don't do or say, which is okay. Because I can still love them, but I don't want to meet them. But I do understand, because they feel the way they feel, is because no one's loved them. And so we're going to start with loving these haters and all of this stuff. However, if you're a hater and you've been here repeatedly hating on me, honestly, you're really a fan. And being a fan, I just want to say you're just being extra critical. And I appreciate that, because absolutely being critical can help me to grow. As I knew saying and learning tonight, as I told you, you can't grow spiritually if you're learning religiously, is the fact that that is the ultimate truth. And I think that's what the thing that everybody is and linked to and connected to every day when it comes down to those things. So I want to tell you, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. It's time for you to grow when it comes down to this. But in the meantime, love someone, hug someone, and do that. Call the people up and tell them you care. Because as we grow spiritually, it's all about the feelings and emotions that we leave with and come back with through our lives and many lives that we have. So I just hope at the end of the day that you do your votes, you do your stuff, that tonight that it is all good. And I will say good night to each and every one of you. I'm out. Yes, I'm enjoying what I do. The energy level up for you is high, but we only just begun, because nothing will be as it was ever again. I promise you, as long as you stay in contact with me, I'm going to perform and serve you. You better believe it. So I'm going to stand here and just say I love y'all.
Why did Ruby shoot Oswald? Was there a conspiracy?
In a world shrouded in darkness and obscured by deception from the big secret keepers, a burning question ignites in the hearts and minds of truth seekers. Why? Let's dive into the abyss of the unknown. Challenge the limits of our understanding.
This bizarre sequence of double killings raised great questions. Who actually fired the shot that killed Kennedy?
Pierce the veil of secrecy.
Cattle found dead and the manner of their deaths are a real mystery.
Anyone who is concerned about lead in the drinking water in Flint.
And venture into the realm of conspiracies and extraterrestrial evidence.